Hey guys, how are you? How are you? Hope you're good. Okay. Uh, I am gonna just sound check. I hope you guys can hear me well. I'm gonna sound check from another device here, and hopefully, uh, I'm coming out good. All right. Shouldn't be able to hear that. Yeah. So, how are you guys? You know, the Zimura thing has uh, become a issue, like a big issue. It has really, the Zimura issue is it's becoming big, and basically everyone is talking about it. Everyone is talking about the Zimura crisis, the chi where, and I want us to have an honest and a frank and a brutal discussion. It's in dzekuzanzi kurira and whatnot, and stuff that people don't want to really be honest about. But we're gonna get into this. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I'm coming out well, and then I want to share this as well. Right. So how do I share that? That's me. That's coming through. Oh, share. Here's the share. Here's the share button. Okay, good. And I think the sound is coming out well. And so let me just share that. Let me just share that, and let me tell people as well that I'm live. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. I think I've shared that. Hey, welcome those who are just joining me for this discussion. So anyway, let's get into it. Everyone knows kuti nyaya Zimura iri kunetsa right now. Oh, there we go. It's really something that has caused a lot of noise. Right now, we've got two factions that are fighting. We've got a side runner Derek. We've got side runner. So side runner Derek. The side of Derek has got Derek, Amuli, and Joseph Karakara, and then we've got the other side of the board. So it's 3 as to 5, because the board is made up of a total of 8. But the issues that they're discussing is issues to do with the Nyadzema royalties. People are getting royalties which are a pittance. And the thing about it is, this is not really something that we would say is new. And so, you know, this is something that we have to look at and say, when did this thing start? So that's why I'm saying let's have a brutal and honest conversation, right? The truth is that for a long time, the music industry in Zim has been messed up. And what happened was people were not being honest, were not making money. So there's this whole thing, which is why I'm saying let's have a brutal discussion on this. Yekurira, nyayekurira, munamdanzi ndrukurira my streets. And I asked someone, and I said, I had a conversation with a very popular gospel artist at the Zimura AGM. We had a conversation, and they were complaining, kuti ndakaita songi, and I didn't get mari yakawanda out of it. And then I asked them, kuti, do you even watch ZBC? Do you even listen to Star FM? Because the first thing, the reason I was asking was because a lot of us as musicians, what we do is we actually do not listen to radio or watch ZBC, because the honest truth, hey Victor, how are you, my brother? If you want to come on to video, please feel free also to come up. But so thank you, please do share this. So I say to this brother of mine, I said, do you even watch ZBC? Do you even watch ZTN? Do you even listen to Star FM? And the reason I was asking them is because for a lot of us musicians, we put our music out there, but we really don't monitor these platforms. Kuti arikuridza say our music. So unongoti ndukurira because I'm popular, because I've got 1 million views on YouTube and whatever. But the honest truth, and I'm saying let's have a brutal and honest conversation here, is that you are not getting the airplay you think you're getting on the platforms. So we have a musician who, and I'm saying this because I remember when I did my first album, I didn't listen to ZBC. What did I watch? I watched DSTV, but I was pushing my music on those platforms. And I would go for interviews. I remember I went to interviews to, put Prayer for Zimbabwe out there. I went to interviews. I did Star FM interviews. I actually remember on my second album, Star FM actually flighted my whole album launch. It was flighted live. But the thing with that was like you go to Star FM, you pay a certain amount, and then they will do your live launch. They do those live launches, and now I think even my stations are doing that. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is we've got a lot of people who don't actually listen to the platforms, but they're saying Drukurira. But because a lot of the other things that have been said is Zimura kurubi wa mali. And then you ask people, can you bring evidence? Can you bring evidence? Because no one is happy with theft. I would never support theft. I would never support things that are wrong. So I ask people, we've had conversations with musicians, and I say, all right, can you bring the evidence? Can you at least bring a log sheet as a musician and say, this is the music of mine yakarira ku Star FM Muswakati, right? Over a period of this year, I was logging in the details of saying my music is playing there. And so when first Farai spoke about Kurira, people got angry about it. People got angry with him, and they said, how dare you say Mubana was Kurira, chi. Right now emotions are flying high, but we are no longer dealing with facts and having brutal conversations. The other thing that we do not talk about is the stuff that I know people don't like this one, but it's true. And I like the fact that on certain Facebook comments, some people actually then said, people are now speaking out, and they said, guys, but we need to have a conversation. You worry. A corruption that is there at the radio stations to say, if you want your music to be played, you have to pay someone. And if you're doing those under the deals table, are those things being logged the professional way? Or someone angokupinza neku back door, but logging in, logwa another person, another artist. Yes, you've been played. But in terms of the logging, is it being logged that you're the one? So there are a lot of issues here that we need to discuss. There are a lot of issues, not just be emotional and go on and try and destroy an organization that has been working for the rights of artists. Because one of the reasons why Zimura is center stage is because right now, in terms of music infrastructure, Zimura is one of the it's one of the organizations that is still standing when it comes to music infrastructure. We don't have record labels. We don't have record labels. Record labels are dead. We used to have, you need those kuti fambe in a music industry. We don't have record labels. And recently we know kuti Nash TV closed down. Nash TV. And do you know what's interesting? Nash was saying, my musicians are destroy the image yangu because musicians are saying I'm stealing from them. So I think also as musicians we have this very bad attitude and this very bad thing of saying, if things are not working well for us, we quickly want to accuse people where we do not have evidence or facts. And Nash TV is an example. Pakazovhara Nash TV vanoti mukoma musadaro chi. But we forget that these are the same people who were castigating Nash TV again. So Zimura is being castigated. Zimura is being demonized. All right, Zimura is not a perfect organization. As a member, I will personally say Zimura is not a perfect organization. Are there things that I see in Zimura that I want to change? I believe so, yes. There are so many things that I want to be reformed in the nation and Zimura and in music industry as general. But we do not reform by destroying. Because what's happening right now is there are people who want to destroy. There are people who have no desire, and there are also power games. There's politics at play right now. Because Zimura, people think it holds a monopoly, but Zimura doesn't hold a monopoly. There's another organization that's actually doing this job of Zoba copyrights. There's another organization. But the reason why most people don't know it, because the organization doesn't have that punch, it also doesn't have the membership, for example, that Zimura has. So everyone, when you talk about it, and I'm not even mentioning the name because it was not going to know. Someone got out in the comment section, but what's this other organization? People don't actually know it. We go on my WhatsApp groups and people are saying, so we need to create another organization. And we say, but there's another organization already that was created a few years back. And that creation of that organization caused a lot of confusion as well. It caused a lot of confusion because you cannot really have two organization collecting for the same rights. It will always lead to confusion. It will always lead to quite a number of things that are going on. So I'm saying let's have a brutal conversation because there are things that people don't want to talk about, but these are important. For example, Kuti, an artist, what we do as artists in Zimbabwe, and my brother Victor, I think Victor can testify, and other people who are musicians. Kuti, what you do as a musician is when you release your music, when you've got music, what you're going to do is going to send it to the radio stations. Can only my video, or it's up by YouTube, or it's sent to me. But now, WhatsApp is the platform that Zimbabweans mostly use. So most musicians will send their music for free on WhatsApp. They'll send it for free on WhatsApp and then say, Vanu, fambisa music yangu, right? And this is something that people are doing because of the nature of the lack of distribution models in Zimbabwe. So WhatsApp becomes the fastest distribution model. Ukakwanisa kuisa music yako ma groups, ma whatever, mazi group ane mazi thousands of people, then your music moves kwanzi ntikurira, right? And then you've also got these bloggers and stuff. You send your stuff to bloggers. Could the bloggers make noise and say, my music is doing this, and that, right? But then when you come out to actual airplay, and you say, is the music getting actual airplay? Because even when it comes to these chats, CHARTS, you will see in WhatsApp groups, guys, votera song yangu, group song and you see some people sometimes then send the song and then they say, vote for this song. And sometimes people just vote. Because no one wants to support my music. Vote for this song so that it can be in the charts. Maybe the only place that song is playing is in the top 50 or top 20 or charts. Like for example, gospel greats. Everyone is trying. Okay, I want to go on the gospel greats. All right, gospel greats happens once every Sunday. Saka, if your song is just being played on gospel grades and it's not receiving airplay in other things, and airplay is 10 cents per play, right? Because this is the brutal conversation that people don't want to have. Airplay is 10 cents per play, right? So I give an example of this gospel grades thing. If your music is only being played on gospel grades once every week, once every Sunday, at the end of the year, and you don't even stay on gospel grade charts for the whole year, Saka, let's say song yako ichaenda pa charts on gospel grades for, let's say, just for the purposes of doing calculations, let's say 4 months. 4 months times the 4 weeks is 16 weeks, right? So your music was played 16 times. The cost or the money that you get per play is 10 cents. What is 16 times 10 cents? 16, let me get my calculator. 16 times 10 cents is 160 cents. Actually, I don't need a calculator. 160 cents. Right? It's 160 cents that you are going to get. Right? And a dollar is how many cents? It's 100 cents, right? So that's $1.60. So, at the end of the year, panozema royalties ake munovati ndakabirwa mari because ndapuwa $6. Ndabirwa mari because ndapuwa $5. But are you actually doing the calculations to see? So this is the brutal conversation to say, all right, urkuti urkurira, right? Because that's the thing that first Farai, maybe I can actually play it from my laptop here. Let me try and get the audio. That's the thing that first Farai did, and that's the thing that people are making noise about. First Farai got, hey, vanu, amskurira vanu, Zimura atishandi mari isusu. And though the stuff that he said might be something chinotsamwisa vanu, but can we look at it and say, but this guy was onto something? Because you want to look at the plays. Turn up as a BC pacho. How much plays are you getting? And you know what, our airplay is actually good. They're 10 cents per play. I was looking at my CD Baby account just now. Because I like, Gary Tite came up with something and he said, why don't we have an app, a Zimura app? You can see their things in real time. If anyone remembers, when I ran, because I ran in the past elections, part of my running was to have a system where you can see your royalties in real time. Because vanhu vari kuchema kuti mari iri kubiwa, but ukatozoita transparent unoona kuti hapana mari yauri kuita really. And this is why, that's why tichiwanzirwa navanhu vakawanda uchinzi musicians have now dzidza chichi. And also because our systems are down. As if we were in a functioning economy, as a big musician would have an accountant or accountants, or actually like a couple of accountants who are actually looking up to his affairs, who then would be looking at my accounts. Because my accounts are pharmacy. Saka zvatinoita Zimbabwe is most musicians, actually all of our musicians are DIY musicians, even the big musicians. And I'll say this honestly, for example, look at Janet Manyoa. Janet Manyoa manager is Munya Manyoa, the husband. JAM Music is basically Munya and Janet putting things together. Management, Murume, Mukaza. Same thing. Look at Pastor Charamba, Amai Charamba. Even look at the JP, the big artists. Look at Winky D. Winky D, of course, under management, Banda. JP under management. But you look at the way we run our music industry, you see that because things are tough here, there's a way we run things. It is what it is. But why I'm talking about Nyaema accountant is, as a musician, for example, I'll give my own example. In Inis at National Mkaba, I should have an accountant who does my accounts. I should, we're not even talking about management, right? You'd have a manager, you'd have an accountant, because music is supposed to be an industry that actually creates employment. This is not where we are at. Right? Mkoma Victor, I believe you can vouch for me apa kuti ndiyo industry yedu zvairi. And now our industry is broken and we have one remaining infrastructure yasara, which is Zimura, because my labels are dead, right? We don't Vana Grammar, they died. Why? Because of the industry is not well. So what we only have here in terms of that infrastructure is Zimura. And so everyone now is expecting from Zimura what they would expect from record label, publishing houses, everything. We want everything to be done by this one thing. And we say, kune mariedu, kune mariedu. And money is, there is money that is there. But let's calculate. And so even the treasurer, Akabataura, something that has made other people angry. Because they were like, membership and calculator mega. It is important. Why? Because you can, an organization with a membership of 5,000, right? Well, before we even get into the issues of the play, and you say, all right, Kune Maria Kati, look at that money is being distributed, divided by 5,000, before we even get to the issues of plays. So we also have then the issue of a play, which was I was explaining. But I don't know, guys. I want people to really look at this and say, are we building anything or are we making one of the biggest mistakes? Because it was and personally, I tried. I had a call the first time that Derek, we talked about a lot of things. And then I tried calling him again. I will try calling him again. But for now, he's not taking my calls. But I wanted to understand a lot of things about the bone of contention. Because like I said, let's have a brutal and honest conversation. If Amuli hadn't seen that he was losing the chairmanship, for example, if Amuli had been voted in the chair, would he have been fighting Zimura? He's fighting Zimura because, so this is where I say this issue is political. This issue is about power. Because I haven't gotten it, I'm going to burn the whole house down. And then you also have other people who have vendettas. For example, and this is public knowledge. You have the president of Zim, who's Edith, who has their own grievances against Zimura because she was fired from the organization. So obviously, she's not going to support the organization. She's going to say, this organization, but my call for everyone who's saying Trubi Rwamari is, can you at least come with evidence? Because that's important. Because otherwise, these become a whole lot of allegations. Then the guy says, no tapa evidence. Takurati zai masalari ema workers Zimura. Right. The first thing is to say, hakuna organization inoita employees isingawabadari. Right? This is the brutal facts. If you're not happy with that, I'm sorry, but this is the fact. You cannot do a company and then say, it doesn't work that way. So for people to say, our evidence is because one salary. No, people should be paid if they work for an organization. All right, toti organization maybe there are considerations there. You just do not fire people unprocedurally. You just don't fire people unlawfully. There are labor laws in Zimbabwe. Right? So, okay, we've got people who say we are board members, but they do not understand the basics, the foundations of the fact that there are labor laws that have to be upheld. How a lawsuit against the organization. If a lawsuit is done against the organization, the people who suffer again are the members of Zimura. Because Mari, lawsuit here, Zima royalties. Because what? Because someone was not wise enough and they just wanted to be like, okay, I just want to fire people unprocedurally. I just want to fire people not in accordance with the labor laws of the nation. So these are the brutal conversations we have to have, because that's why you see a lot of people Jema musicians, music, because sometimes they see our lack of decorum, our lack of the ability to think, right? Our lack of the ability to rationalize, and our lack of the ability to search deeper into issues. Because we have to search deeper into issues and say, what is this whole thing about? Yes, if someone is saying, and Ndagabada was $6. And I know it angers. Ndagabada was $6. Ndagabada was $10. Ndagabada was $15. And you're saying, but you got to calculate, why no guy? Log out over what times 10 cents per play. Then you will see, if you do that, I was saying I looked at my CD Baby account today. And I was actually interested because a CD Baby account upon no streaming against 0 cents. In music nigga streamer, but Avanjan one. In streaming against 1 cent. In streaming against 3 cents. You must stream on the 5. Then you have different places, YouTube, TikTok, all happening within my CD Baby account, and I can see it in real time. But I can tell you, Marizacho per player in October 1. It's also particularly 10 cents per play. It could change 10 cents per play. So the other issue also that we need to talk about is how we export Zimbabwean jobs. Because when you listen to radio, which is why ndambovunza kuti ndakavunza umwe munhu ndikati unotomboteerera radio, unotomboteerera. Because sometimes also what happens is on the radio we've got stuff that's being played that's not from Zimbabwe. Remember kuti that airplay could have been given to locals who would then have gotten more. Which is why hate him or like him when Jonathan Moyo did his 90% local, was it 95% local? people actually started getting a lot of money in terms of royalties. Why? Because songs were getting more play. Because now, and yeah, we can argue against that and say no, but but if you go to America right now, America is not playing Zimbabwean songs. America is playing American songs. The USA plays United States songs. If you go to Nigeria, Nigeria is not playing Zimbabwean songs. It's playing Nigerian songs. You go to South Africa, they are playing their music. So we are exporting Zimbabwean jobs, and then at the end of the year, a Zimbabwean person anopopota achiti mari yangu ishoma, but aasi kuconsider kuti zviri kuitika kuairplay yake, what is going on, what is happening. So guys, pane nyaya. I was hoping to get some things, but I think that until people are willing to have an honest conversation, this issue is not going to do anything or we get any help, because vanhu vanenge vachingorwisana, and kurwisana akubatsiri, because remember Chipfumbu had a legal battle with the Zimura, a long legal battle until he was defeated. But that legal battle and the cost of that, where were they going to? They were going to Zimura. And so one might be celebrating kuti hey vanhu avaita zvakati and but my legal battles that are going to come out of this whole mess, that money affects Maria royalties. And this is not the brutal conversation that people want to have, because Moon is like, because people are fighting for power. But pacheta ma legal battles okuti Derek Amuli na Garakara wakaenda ku court kunoti susu takabviswa chichichichi, all those court battles, Mario Mari, you see, these guys had the opportunity. I mean, how do you get into a board and then you then go back and you say, as a person animal board une power eh? How can a person who's in the board who has power and then out and it's captured because you're not getting things the way you wanted to get things? But you have to understand that when people will never see things the same way. So now we go outside to the outside public and say, now let's get the public, let's try and amass things so that we can do this. So let's see how things are going to happen in the oncoming days. But I can tell you that this whole thing, at the end of the day, the person who's going to cry at the end of the day is the composer. It is the composer. It is the musician who is busy supporting something that's going to be destructive for them. Because the thing is, this fight does not benefit the industry. At Torina industry, actually, anyway, I've said this and gotten people angry when I said Zimbabwe doesn't have a music industry. How can you say Zimbabwe doesn't have a music industry? But that's the honest truth, because we don't have labels, we don't have publishing houses, we don't have chaka. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, Koa Victor, for being on this live. I'm just gonna end it here. Maybe I'll do another live again. I think there's something that's coming up. Hey, Clayton, Jack, welcome. Welcome, Clayton. Seriously, welcome to the live. It's gonna be interesting. But I think at the end of the day, though, to some extent, I'm happy that we are having these conversations. I'm happy that zviri kubuda pachena kuti maZimbabwean musicians are kutambura. Right? I think that's important. I say this for a very long time. In Zimbabwe, musicians are struggling. The person who I had a conversation with, remember I was saying, Kumberuga, I had a conversation with a very popular gospel artist. But you see, what happens in music is you have a life cycle. So, because life cycle royalties, can I get help from the... And that's why you see some of these people, they are talking about these royalties. What, hey, my pension. No, royalties are not pension. It's not pension. It's not. A royalty payment, it is passive income that you get because of the works that are being played, right? As a copyright payment, because Zimura ndo basa rayo. It's the rights of the musician, the copyrights. right? Which is where the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Act comes into play. Saka mwana aruti he trikuda, and then onzo mwana aruchema chi he trikuda medical aid. But I get it that people are like, can Zimura do our medical aid? But where does it get the money from? So people are like, no, yes, Zimura inoita funeral cover, yes, but hazvokuti ndizofungwa ndafa wakomana ndafa ndo pamangu nitengera. But the problem is how my premiums ekubhadhara medical aid. Imagine paying medical aid premiums for 5,000 members. So I'm saying people who are not having this conversation, which is a brutal conversation that we need to have. Kuti munhu avhunze kuti zvandiri kutaura izvi zviri practical here, zviri feasible here. And so I believe kuti a lot of these other guys vakazopinda mbodi, I believe that they really didn't understand. They really didn't have an understanding yekuti zvinhu zvinofamba sei, which is where you can see. So, and there are a lot of people, there's a lot of stuff flying out there. We've got a lot of people who are saying things, some of them even are unfounded. But because we live in the social media age where someone can say something sensational, and as long as it gets views, as long as it is shared widely, that's what goes on. And remember that just because there are a multitude of people making noise doesn't mean they are right. You can have a multitude of people making noise about something, but doesn't mean they are right. It just means that they are the noisiest. It doesn't mean that they are right. Because, and I think this is where Zimura lost the ball from Kuvakudara. Because this is the previous board. I mean, guys, we had people like Vanamudiwa who are very vocal, about other things, like vocal about politics and whatever. We had all those people, but being silent on Nyaidzi. But anyway, I think even the former board chair, Mr. Nyati, was a bit very silent, and he didn't want to speak a lot. But you see, the problem when you don't speak is there will come others who are way able to make noise, and their noise will be heard. Saka, I think going forward, Zimura should have a clear ability to articulate to the public, to articulate to even its enemies, and articulate and even debate its enemies, and be able to speak panyaya dzirikuitika. Yeah. Guys, I think I'll do another live again, but let's have an honest conversation. Let's have a brutal conversation. But I think people want to focus on the trends and where vanarongeta kunda musaya. But kuti tinatsodzika titi vakomana pane nyaya. Ngatitaure nyaya iyi vana havasi kuda kutaura nyaya. But anyway, I need to take a call. There's a call that's just coming in. Let me take it now.